This is too funny not to air, so I am going to air it. I think this is utterly and entirely hilarious. I don't know if this is a situation where the person is just disengaged. I don't know if the person didn't know who was coming on the show. But Maria Bartiromo gets catfished. Catfished. I love the way human beings make these words. And it's like something happens to someone. It's bad, but you give it a name that makes it seem not quite as bad. She was catfished. She was duped. She was surprised. She didn't know who she was talking to. She thought this gentleman was someone else. And she engaged him and talked to him for like 6 minutes as he posed as the new CEO of Smithfield Ham. That CEO's name is Dennis Organ. This gentleman that Maria Bartiromo, Fox News, is going to interview is not Dennis Organ. It is not Dennis Organ. But Bartiromo doesn't necessarily notice. Now, the gentleman she is interviewing is named Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson is an activist, an activist. He wants to draw attention to the horrible, horrible conditions at Smithfield. Now, keep in mind, Smithfield was one of the places that had the largest meat infection of COVID when it first started in the country. I remember this. Donald Trump had tried to keep the guys open. They were having all these things where the states was trying to force people back into the job. Many of these Republican states, especially taking Donald Trump's leadership on that issue. And Smithfield, or the meat plants, were one of the places that was affected. But these places had massive, massive COVID spikes. And so, so when this gentleman is talking, he's bringing that stuff up. It's also a disgusting industry. There's a book by Al Franken. I never forget it. Al Franken goes into the meat industry. And the question, where does the shit go? Have you ever thought about that? Like a farm, massive farms, all of these pigs, where does the pig shit go? Think about it for a moment. I know it's a disgusting thing to think about it, but think about it for a moment. Where does it go? Does it contaminate the soil? What does it smell like for the residents that are in town, just so happen to be a few miles away? How do they treat the animals when they're there? And how do you know? They have videos of people kicking cows, beating and abusing animals, putting animals into these tiny cages, using something that is life as if it's only and entirely a commodity, and keeps it away from your prying eyes because they don't want you to feel some kind of way about the way they do their jobs to make as much cash as they can make. This activist is drawing attention to that. Maria Bartiromo did not notice. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, and subscribe. You can always support this content through PayPal or Patreon. This content is brought to you by you, and I appreciate you the opportunity for allowing me to do it. I think I said that strangely, but that's okay. Keep it moving. So Maria Bartiromo, if I'm being honest, I used to have a bit of a crush on Maria Bartiromo. Oddly enough, this was years ago, before I started getting into news. Now, with her pushing the Trump stuff, it has declined significantly. Not to mention I'm married, so besides the point. But she's interviewing a guy. Now, I know, being on radio, and I would imagine on the TV it may be similar, that your producers may say, hey, here's somebody to interview. Great. And usually all of you are pretty much on the same page because they have a general idea on how you think, how your other hosts think, and they can make that work. Now, this is a business channel, and people will come on the channel. Now, she might have known who the previous CEO was. She may just not have known who this CEO was, how he looked or whatever. This is hilarious. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's funny. I don't know if I should feel sympathetic because this could somehow happen to me where I get catfished. I'm talking to somebody in an interview and the guy's telling me he's, I don't know, Dan Quill or something. And we just get catfished. So I think I partially feel sympathetic, but it's still funny because he's doing God's work. He's actually drawing a circle around the industry that is horrendous for the people that are around it, disgusting from the standpoint of the animals. And could we do it better? Yes. Yes. There are humanely raised products, meaning I get you're going to kill the pig. Fair enough, fair enough. Can we do it in a humane way? Can we do it where it doesn't suffer? Can we do it where you're not beating the shit out of it, kicking it, putting it in these horrible cages? And if it costs me $2 more, I'll pay the $2. And I would wager the overwhelming majority of the public would do the same, especially if it's put up to us from the standpoint of the question. I think human beings will take the $2 extra. I honestly do believe it, but we never get the choice. And not just never get the choice. When people show what goes on in it, those people tend to get punished, not the people who are abusing and injuring those animals. Let's take a look at the clip. Maria Bartiromo catfished.
We might bear some responsibility for that, but we know that our Smithfield family is dedicated and resilient, and the better times are ahead. And if I may add quickly, as the new CEO and president of Smithfield, I'm personally promised that we're going to do better. And the first change under my leadership is transparency and at times brutal honesty. And the truth is that our industry, in addition to the outbreaks that are happening at our plants, our industry poses a serious threat in effectively bringing on the next pandemic with CDC data showing that 3 or 4 infectious diseases come from animals, and the conditions inside of our farms can sometimes be petri dishes for new diseases. Hog farming also causes immense harm to our air and waterways.
Well, Dennis, that's what I want to ask you about. That's what I want to ask you about, Dennis, because Smithfield.
Wait a minute. Stop here for a moment. Wait a minute. This is so awesome. He said, at times, brutal honesty. Now, the wild part about this, he starts off basically giving a congratulations to the workers. Yes, our workers are great. They get out there, they fight, they make this meat for us. They're doing, a good job, and they're putting their lives on the line. They were really ill, etc., etc., etc. Yay, workers. Then he goes into the brutal honesty stuff and basically says this place is a petri dish. It is unsafe. We can have a new mutation, new coronavirus, and it can just spread all over the place in the United States. This place is unsafe. Now, this is hilarious because the idea of the CEO of a company coming on a business channel, going on a business channel and basically saying his business is radically unsafe. Radically unsafe. A petri dish. He even used the word petri dish. Maria Bartiromo doesn't skip a beat. And she says, well, that's what I want to talk to you about. That's what I want to talk to you about. So let's hear what she wants to talk to you about. That's hilarious.
Smithfield Foods is the world's largest pork producer. You are in an incredible, an incredible spot to have incredible impact in the United States and across the world. But China acquired Smithfield. Your parent company is now based in Hong Kong. Can you tell us how it works? There was a post recently about the way your company operates. Are the hogs raised in the United States and then sent to China to get slaughtered and produced and packaged?
Yeah, well, Smithfield Foods is owned by a Chinese conglomerate, and the pigs are they're slaughtered in the U.S. and we have an export market, which we think is a very necessary part of a thriving economy to have open trade. There is So there's been some leveling off of demand that we've seen in China. There was a African.
This goes on for 6 minutes. 6 minutes. And she doesn't skip a beat. She doesn't skip a beat. She really thinks he is Dennis Organ. And the wild part about this is he's just answering. And it's like after he said the first spiel, just shitting on the company. It's unsafe, that it's going to be a petri dish. All of these people are going to get sick. It's going to spread COVID all across the United States. Somebody needs to shut us down. Now, he didn't go but the last part, but might as well have gone to the last part. Give him another 30 seconds. That's where it's going to go. Somebody needs to shut our business down. And she says, that's what I want to talk to you about. That's what I want to talk to you about. Really? That's what you want to talk to him about? You thought that the president of Smithfield Ham was going to come on and shit on Smithfield Ham? That's what you wanted to talk to the president of Smithfield about? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That was your segue. I'm just fucking with you. But nobody noticed? No producer? No, how much money do you guys make? Like, you guys get millions. There's nobody there that could have said, hey, the money that I get forces me to have a due diligence to make sure that that guy is who that guy says he is. Especially if we're talking about an owner or the CEO of a company, especially the size of Smithfield. That's hilarious that he was able to carry that for 6 minutes with a straight face. And he's answering your questions. I gotta be honest, that guy doesn't look like the CEO of anything to me. And so maybe that's my own bias here. But I mean, look, don't, right here. He doesn't look like a CEO to me. And I know that sounds weird. What does a CEO look like? Not him. Not him. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. She got catfished. Yeah. I'm not going to keep this. I just thought it was funny. I wanted to share it. Like, share, and definitely subscribe. That guy should get a prize. That guy should get a prize. I've